Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Let's sing along with me. It brings me a lot of joy and good luck when you guys dislike my videos and sing along with me and show your support by disliking this video. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I hope this is coming up correctly. I get nervous when the clock on the upper left hand corner of my screen freezes or something like that. It makes me wonder if I'm uploading, but I'm hopeful it's running correctly. All right, sing along with me. I'm going to sing the Peter Dislike jingle again. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So today marks the 666th day anniversary of my art career, which I began in 2022, and it's been an interesting ride since I began. There's a lot of soul searching, a lot of uh, understanding the world around me, among other things, and just a bunch of plain exploration and almost like a romance, right? And I'd like to share how I've been feeling over the last 666 days. Let's start at the beginning. Why did I begin the art project? Actually, it began quite by accident. What had happened was I was working at a tutoring center and I was tutoring AP chemistry. One of the students, who was really good at chemistry, by the way, he had brought in this periodic table that was infographics. It had the element, the year it was discovered, interesting facts, and the rarity, among other facts about each element. And I was looking at the rarity because I wanted to see how gold ranked amongst the rarest. At the time, I was fascinated by platinum, actually, because it was, well, it still is cheaper than gold. Right now, it's like half the price of gold. Historically, it was more like double. So we're talking 4x your money, right? Even if gold goes down, you got 4x to make up for that, right? If we go back to regular ratios, and I was trying to show this kid the anomaly, and so then I looked and I thought, gee, really, bismuth is almost as rare as gold? Because I knew bismuth was like a base metal, right? It's traded as a base metal rather than a precious metal. And so I went home and I checked online to see where I can buy bismuth bars. I knew it was a lot cheaper than gold. I didn't realize how cheap it was until I actually went online to try to buy some. And that first day, I bought a 10-pound bismuth bar. I think I paid about $80 for it. A couple days later, it came in the mail, and I took it to the tutoring center because at the tutoring center, I'm often stuck at my desk, no exercise for hours on end. I didn't think that was very healthy. And so I took the 10-pound bismuth bar to the office just to lift weights as I'm working with the student. And the student who had brought in that periodic table looked at me and I said, "Guess what happened? You remember how we looked at this element that was almost as rare as gold, but like 1,000, 10,000 times cheaper?" He said, "Yeah, look what I bought." And he laughed his ass off. I told him this is going to be worth like millions of dollars someday. And right now I get to exercise with it. And then not long after that, I melted that bar to make a bar. The first thing I made was a pyramid, actually. I had bought a graphite mold. Now, at the time, Halloween was coming up. And I bought this tray that was designed for Halloween cookies. And I poured bismuth into it. And it turned out very well as well. And so that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my bismuth art career. And then after that, I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. One of the biggest complaints I had in Seattle was that there was a lot of the whole city is built around, well, actually Phoenix as well, but Seattle even more extremely. It was built around having two people, right? If you took a startup company job in Seattle and you didn't have somebody to work together to take care of the household chores, right? And also you only had one income, it felt like a lot of headwind, like especially if you have colleagues who are very closed off to that concept. You get all the wackiest hours. You have nobody to share the household chores with. So wacky hours, extended hours often mean you have to go eat out, right? And cost you money, and you only have that one income, right? And so I felt a lot of headwinds. I wouldn't say discrimination, but societal headwinds, right? You don't have a societal substrate that allows one person to it's not like, I spent some time in Poland, I spent some time in Japan. Over there you have a lot of apparatus that facilitates single life, right? A lot of people live in internet cafes in Japan. Hostels are also very common in Poland, right? I was staying at a hostel, and you had people who were just like me, right, happily married to themselves, who were living extended in terms in the hostel, right? Uh, before she became the Polish idol, right? Evelina Falenta was kind of living in that kind of situation too, right? And so yeah, it was very conducive. Phoenix is a little bit more conducive than Seattle to the solo sexual life. Not quite the ideal, right? Wallace, Idaho would be a better place, right? You have more people who are living in this hostile kind of environment, and also the cost of living is significantly less. You also typically don't need a car if you're living in Wallace, Idaho, right? Especially if you're working on the mines there. If you work in Coeur d'Alene, yes, you'll probably need a car, right? If I lived there, I would need a car because I would probably be teaching in Coeur d'Alene College, right? Which I did apply to as well. But you get the idea, right? Seattle, it's not it doesn't have the right substrate for solo sexual life. I wouldn't say they go discriminate purposely against it. Oh, solo sexual is not welcome. No, Seattle doesn't say that, right? But it creates an environment where you feel a lot of headwinds, and that's why I moved to Phoenix, which is a tiny step in the right direction. And that's when I began my Bismuth art career. So I applied to work at uh, Phoenix College. I didn't get the job when I first moved here, and so I took a job at a tutoring center where I ran into some toxicity again. Unfortunately, sometimes uh, some of the managers I have at these tutoring centers are from a different generation, right? Sometimes they don't even go along with the kids that they're trying to serve, right? I, 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 I can't tell you how many times I had to apologize to the boss when the kids were like, no, this is not a problem for us, right? So, for example, one time I was teaching a math concept about compound interest, right? Exponential growth, basically. And I was teaching the students, let's say you could make some percentage a year interest or whatever, or return on the stock market, whatever it is, right? 5%, 6%, 10%. And I said, what do you think would be better? Would you rather have more money to invest today, or would you rather live to be like 300 years old and your money could grow for like another 250 years, right? Before you have to retire, right? Which one do you think would bring you more money? Oftentimes kids get it wrong. They want the $1 billion or whatever it is today rather than $100 that has hundreds of years to grow, right? And then I show the kids, right? I tell them that, hey, every time you do something that might hurt your body, right? If your friend offers you a cigarette, or you think about eating too much McDonald's, right? You got to think this is going to cost me like millions of dollars, right? And the kids like that example, but my boss gets very edgy when I talk about these uh, adult topics, right? Of eating too much McDonald's, of not smoking, or of living to be 300 years old, and just generational gap issues. I had a boss who was 74 years old, and in his generation, it probably wasn't very popular to say that, right? And so I got into toxicity issues, but I was um, I was making bismuth art, and I made some good money. I went to my first art show, and I started making some money off of it. And as I started making more money, it was like I developed more of a backbone, right? My boss says something, writes me up, or says something that disagrees with me. I actually stick up for myself, and I feel like I feel like I have more leverage, right? So, for example, toward the end of my time at the tutoring center, I completely tuned out. My boss said something. I said, "It sounds like my student is happy. I'll think about that. Thank you for your input." but I really didn't think very much of it. And that felt good to be able to do that, right? Hey, thank you very much, but my student is happy. Thank you very much, but my student is happy. I would say that. And I would literally think that and let him digest it. And that was really good. Ditto even at Phoenix College, right? I learned I don't always have to. I don't always have to either take heat or do something that I don't want to do. The only downside with my art career, and this really pains me, and it really it reared its ugly face this year, is that it's only a one-man operation, right? I don't get any paid vacation time. I don't get any paid sick time with my bismuth art, right? If I burn myself, I either have to continue it and live with the pain, or my art project stops and I lose all the benefits that come with it, right? And that's a pain. I'm going to have to think hard about what to do about that. I was talking to, I during my time in Poland when I was living in a hostel, I got to know somebody there, and I was talking to her. It's been 7 years since we met up, actually, and she and I were talking about meeting up. But then I realized that as soon as I get on that flight to go to Poland for whatever duration of time, my art project like stops. I don't get any paid vacation time there, and so it's a mixed bag, is what it is, right? At the same, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the art projects, but they leave something to be desired too. But at the same time, my art projects make me stronger at the college, and vice versa, right? Having that college job as a backup, it allows me to buy the materials for the art projects, right? And also serves as a backup when my art projects have their learning curves and whatever, right? I certainly wouldn't be able to experiment so much and network so much if I didn't have the job at the college. Right? So they kind of balance each other out, is what I want to say. But certainly, I definitely need. I definitely need to be taking good care of myself. Right, last couple of weeks I've been misplacing things. I've been injuring myself, and can't make time to see an old friend in Poland. So Tiger says, Peter, art is meant to be shared and appreciated. How can you deal when you won't let us purchase your piece? I two things. I'm having difficulty mailing. I was surprised how easy the bismuth and Ganesh's break when they're sent in the mail. And second, I checked to see if I could open a store on Etsy or something, and the fees would just really kill me. A lot of these things I'm not even making all that much relative to the materials. I would spend $400 on art. I don't feel you're really serious about it. I've been very busy making stuff, which is why I want to network with the right people, right? Okay. We need a Peter dislike website. Thank you for disliking, by the way. Make bullets out of bismuth. Let's see. Speaking of bullets, what I need is I hope to get an XRF gun at some point. I got a friend who works at a shooting range, and he has all sorts of bullets. But every time I melt them together, because they have so many different metals, the alloys look really crazy. So I'm thinking getting an XRF gun to detect the alloys, so that I can make good stuff out of that. So that gets us to today, and unfortunately, 666 days in, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, right? How to network with the right people, have good work-life balance, right? I don't know if I want to do art full-time or stay where I am, where I have a day job and art. It's really hard to find work-life balance with both careers, but at the same time, part of that could be that I just don't have a network, right? So still working on that. And also, what am I going to do? Eventually, bismuth is going to be too expensive to make art, right? So I'm going to have to think about exit strategy. For obviously, there's other metals to work with, but I really love working with bismuth. So I'm going to have to think about some exit strategies there. I'm not sure if tomorrow I woke up and I discovered I had $10 million worth of bismuth. You might say, well, why would you care about your career matters? That well, it's not just the money at the job, right? So, for example, even if I had $10 million today and I lost my bismuth job because people won't be able to afford it, I think I would continue. I would feel stressed out at Phoenix College again because when things go south, I would still worry about job security over there, right? I need something to do with my life, right? So I'm gonna have to think hard about exit strategy. That's another thing I need to think hard about. All right. So that's a review of how I felt the last 666 days. Please pray for a good 8,000 more days to come by leaving some dislikes on this video. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.